was what your options are. And then I think a fair bit of it was Zverev playing against his own history and the manifestation of nerves in a body. Mm-hmm. 9 double faults, and a lot of them are passive double faults. But props, man, like you stick in there, we could all see it. Like you could all see it. We all know the history. It was no secret. To regroup after losing that fourth set, and he looked like he was cooked physically, by the way, at the end of that fourth set. To recover and just get it done, however it looked, however it took shape. He's a Grand Slam champion. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. His counting stats stack up against a lot of Hall of Famers that are in. My vote will be for him immediately. Also, like an undertold story. How about someone being a type 1 diabetic and winning a 5-setter?
Paris has a way of breaking people. It has broken Zverev before. Semifinals, exits, crushing defeats, years of near misses on that red clay. But this time, something was different. This time, Alexander Zverev walked off court Philippe Chatrier as a Grand Slam champion for the very first time in his career, and the emotions that poured out of him in those final moments told you everything you needed to know about how long he had been carrying this weight. For years, the narrative around Zverev was simple, talented, yes, but not a Grand Slam winner. That label followed him everywhere. Every time he went deep in a major and came up short, the doubters got louder. Every time someone brought up the names of Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer, Zverev's name was the one that came with an asterisk. No slam. Not yet. Maybe never. That is the cruel way tennis talks about its best players who haven't crossed that particular finish line. And Zverev lived inside that conversation for the better part of 6 years at the top of the sport. But what made this Roland Garros victory even more significant is that it did not come easy. It never does with Zverev. Controversy seems to find him the way clay dust finds a white shirt. And even in the biggest match of his life, it showed up again. During the final, something happened that stopped commentators, analysts, and former champions cold. Zverev's teammate and training partner Marcelo Melo walked down to the side of the court mid-match and handed Zverev a drink, tablets, and what appeared to be advice. Right there on the court during play, Jim Courier, who was on commentary at the time, immediately flagged it as unprecedented. And he was right to flag it, because in the world of professional tennis, that kind of access simply does not happen. The rules are clear. Items go through ball kids. Coaching from the box is one thing, but having someone physically come down to the court and hand a player something while the match is ongoing, that is something else entirely. Jon Wertheim, speaking on the Served with Andy Roddick podcast, put it plainly. He said he was watching alongside former world number 4 Andrea Petkovic, and both of them had the exact same reaction in real time. You cannot do that. He was genuinely surprised that the move was even permitted. But permitted it was, and the match continued, and Zverev went on to win. Andy Roddick, who never minces words when he has a strong opinion, went deeper into the reasoning behind why the chair umpire did not step in and penalize Zverev in that moment. He raised a critically important point. Zverev is a type 1 diabetic. That is not a minor detail. That is a genuine medical reality that affects how his body responds to the physical demands of a 5-set Grand Slam final on clay in Paris. Managing blood sugar levels during that kind of exertion is not just about performance. It is about health. It is about safety. And Roddick suggested that the umpire almost certainly took that medical context into consideration when deciding not to issue a code violation. But Roddick was not done, because while he understood the medical argument, he also had a bigger issue with how the entire match was officiated, and it had nothing to do with Marcelo Melo specifically. His frustration was with the consistency, or rather the complete lack of it. He pointed out that the shot clock during one particular moment was allowed to run all the way to around 45 seconds, well beyond the standard limit, giving Zverev extra time. And then, just when Zverev had composed himself and was already in position to serve, the umpire hit him with a time violation. Not before. Not during the extended wait. Right at the moment when he was ready to go. Roddick called it completely senseless. Either the rules mean something and they are applied consistently across every player in every situation, or they do not mean anything at all, picking and choosing when to enforce them mid-rally, mid-set, mid-final is not officiating. It is chaos dressed up in a blazer. And this was not happening in a vacuum. Roddick also brought up the broader officiating picture at this year's Roland Garros. The decision to not use electronic line calling, which he felt directly hurt Casper Ruud during a critical sequence in the second set of match, and the continuing issue of line judges sitting directly in front of players, creating physical hazards that have already led to injury. The whole picture he was painting was one of a tournament making choices that prioritize tradition and atmosphere over fairness and player safety, and using inconsistent officiating to paper over the cracks. Brad Gilbert, who spent decades coaching some of the best players in the world, including Andre Agassi and Coco Gauff, was equally stunned by the Melo incident. He took to social media immediately after it happened and made his feelings very clear. His point was straightforward. The protocol exists for a reason. Anything going to a player during a match, drinks, food, medical supplies, goes through the ball kid first. The ball kid brings it to the player's chair. That chain of custody is standard. It has always been standard. Watching a teammate stroll down courtside and personally hand something to player mid-match was, to Gilbert, a visible and significant breach of the established protocol. He was not subtle about his shock. Zverev himself stayed completely above all of it. He did not address the controversy, did not comment on Melo's actions, and did not engage with any of the officiating criticism. And honestly, it is hard to blame him. When you have been chasing something for your entire professional career, when you have arrived at the finish line and finally crossed it, the last thing you want to do is spend that moment defending the circumstances. He let the trophy speak. He let the tears speak. He let the years of near misses and public doubt speak for themselves, because the answer to all of it was sitting right there in his hands. Now, the German tennis player turns his attention toward the grass season, and he is doing it with a freedom in his game that simply did not exist before Paris. The wait is gone. He has proven what he needed to prove. He made the decision to skip Stuttgart and the Boss Open, choosing recovery and rest over an early grass court appearance. His only official grass preparation will be the ATP 500 in Halle, the Tara Wertman Open, running from June 15th through June 21st. Then it is straight to London, where Wimbledon begins on June 29th.